Hello everyone, I'm Ramu, part of the Analytics Product Management team based out of Bangalore and responsible for Lumira. In today's session, we are going to cover along with the existing capabilities what we have planned enhancements for Lumira on BW. So let me start with quickly flashing up the regular legal disclaimer. So, with respect to Lumira and BW, in this session we would be highlighting how you can leverage your existing investments on SAP BW with SAP Lumira. So, as you are aware, Lumira is a self-service BI tool that allows you to acquire the data from multiple data sources, enrich and manipulate the data to add the context to it. And after that, you can, make use of the vast visualizations capability and the analysis capability we have within the tool to discover the data and gain insight. And once you are done with it, you can put all your discovery and insights together as a story and share it with the other colleagues within the organization. So, especially with reference to BW, what you can do with Lumira is just like any other data source, you can acquire the data from BW, respecting the metadata which is coming in from BW, and you can apply the transformations on top of the applied data. That is, you can add a business logic on top of existing BW data model or the query without having a need to go and update the BEx Query in the backend. So before I get into the details of SAP Lumira on BW, let me just quickly provide you an overview of SAP Lumira solution. So as we speak today, you can work with the SAP Lumira solution either on the Lumira desktop or on the browser for Lumira Server on the platform and Lumira Server 14. And with the last release, that is 1.29, which we delivered in November, you can also consume Lumira stories on mobile BI application. So we have access to the Lumira stories from all the different device types on which you can work with. Another important thing which I would like to highlight here is as part of the Lumira deployment, we do have three options. One is, of course, the Lumira desktop, which is meant for individual users. And for the servers, we do have Lumira Server for Teams or Lumira Server for BI platform. The Lumira Server for Teams is meant for department and line of business where there is a subset of users within the organization who wants a standalone system basically to share the content and collaborate, whereas Lumira Server for BI platform is targeted for the enterprise deployment. And all these solutions or the deployment comes with an in-memory engine which we call as Velocity Engine, which actually helps analyze the contents within Lumira by taking advantage of Velocity Engine, which runs in memory. So all your data is loaded in memory when you are working with a document in Lumira. Having said that, if you have HANA in your organization, you can delegate all the calculation to HANA to take advantage of power of HANA by working with Lumira, connecting to HANA using HANA online mode. Having said that, another important thing is if you are currently using Lumira Cloud or Lumira Server for HANA, we are planning for end of maintenance by September 2016. So the recommendation is to move to Lumira Server for BI platform as soon as possible. Again, with that context, let me get into the topic planned for today, that is leveraging your BW investments within SAP Lumira. So let me just start with a quick demo of the current capabilities and then get into the slides to make it more interesting. So here I have Lumira desktop application open. One important thing is by default after installation you would not get the SAP BW data connector For that, what you need to do is you need to go to Extension Manager, and from there you need to download and install the extension which actually supports connectivity to BW. So once you install the extension, it would request you to restart the desktop. So once the extension installed, you can go to File and create a new document. So here now you would see a newly added source that is called as download from SAP Business Warehouse. So when I click on next, I would have two options here. One is local BW system. So what it does is it would pull in all the BW system details which are configured in SAP GUI logon. The another option is SAP Business Objects BI platform, where you can make use of the OLAP connections which are already created on BI platform. For the demo, what I do is I have already connected to one of my servers. So let me just make use of it, and when I click on connect, it would start listing all the different BW connections I have configured on as an OLAP connections in the BI platform. So once I connect to the connections, the application would start listing the queries and info providers available by roles or the info areas. So in this case, I want to do my analysis using specific underscore all BEx Query. So when I select and click on next, this particular query, we have a variable which is an optional variable, so that would be listed for me, prompt me to provide the values before I proceed. As this is an optional variable, let me proceed without providing values so that I acquire the data with all the values here. So now I'm in the data exploration here, so I can just select the measures and dimensions which I want to analyze. So in this case, let me select product class as part of dimension, product line. And if you look at it, product line has a hierarchy, so let me select a hierarchy as well. So now when I click on create, what the application does is it will hit the underlying BW system and the BEx Query. It will get the result set based on the objects which I have selected for my analysis, that is the dimension measures. So as you can see here, I had two measures selected, list price and total sales. As you can see under dimensions, we had a product hierarchy selected, so it creates automatically an hierarchy which has two levels, that is level 0 and level 01 from the product hierarchy. So once I have acquired the data, I can go back to the prepare room where I can analyze the data, and depending on my requirement, I can start enriching and enhancing the available data. If I want, I can add another data set, which may be a Excel or any other data source, and merge it to continue analysis with the context of the other data set as well. Otherwise, I can simply drag and drop my dimensions and measures to create the visualizations. Yep. And I can get into the compose room where I can create a story using the visualizations I have created, and finally I can save this Lumira document to server for Teams or BI platform, or even locally on the desktop, all the three different deployment options we have for Lumira. So let me just get back to the slides with this demo. So what we have today is support for downloading, acquiring the data from SAP BW along with all the other connectivity within Lumira, like connection to SAP HANA, universes, or any other third-party OLTP sources. So one important thing I would like to highlight here is the data acquisition or download from SAP BW is different than the online analysis what you would typically do with analysis for OLAP or Design Studio, for example. So this scenario is for the use cases or requirements where you would like to match the data you are acquiring from SAP BW with non-SAP sources like Excel or data acquired from Query and SQL, and also for the cases where you want to extend the logic which has created on a BEx Query within the tool where you want to add another business logic or transformation after acquiring. One important thing to highlight here is even when you acquire the data to Lumira, you do not need to worry about the data level security because that is respected at the refresh time depending on the user credential with which you are running the query with. A couple of examples of the mashups here is comparison of actual values stored in the BW system, which is accessed via BEx Query, versus planned values which are stored in an Excel, for example. So you can pull in the data from these two sources and do an analysis of actual versus planned. Similarly, comparison of sales for a quarter against the market benchmark, whereas the market benchmark is coming from the external source. So with the data acquisition, you can acquire your data from the managed source like BW and match it up with the data coming from Excel or any third-party systems which are contextual for your analysis. A couple of recommendations. We do not recommend to use BW acquisition mode for the large volume of data coming from BW. So we do support a large volume of data within Lumira. Having said that, when you are working on BW, we would always recommend to acquire the data which is required for your analysis rather than pulling in the entire cube from BW to have a better response while working within the tool. And as I mentioned earlier, the data acquisition use case is little different than the online analysis, which is a requirement for the OLAP analysis workflows. So in such cases, we do recommend to make use of Design Studio as a tool to take advantage of online analysis on the BW system. So we do support acquiring the data directly from an info provider. It may be a cube and the BEx queries. So one of the important capabilities is you can blend the data coming out of the BEx queries with any other sources and use it in a visualization. And as I mentioned earlier, you can make use of the capabilities provided by Lumira, especially the data preparation capabilities like manipulation and enrichment to add additional business logic or transformation on top of the acquired data. And as I highlighted earlier as well, the data security is always taken into account while refreshing the document. Only the data which the user is authorized would be pulled into the document. Just a note here, BW on HANA would definitely provide a better response time, but it's definitely not a prerequisite to be used within Lumira. Two ways of connecting to BW system from Lumira desktop. One, using the managed OLAP connections, which are defined in BI platform CMC. This has a lot of advantages. With this, you can make use of the SSO configured on the BI platform to query the result set. The other option is direct connection to the BW system. That is, you can type in the details of the BW system in the desktop, or you can pull in the pre-configured BW system details from the SAP Logon GUI. In both the cases, you can connect to BW system from the desktop and continue working on it. When we talk about BW, one of the important elements we have is variables. So we do support variables in Lumira. So during your acquisition workflow, if a BEx query has a variable associated with with it, the end users would be prompted to provide values for these variables before proceeding. So with respect to variables, we do support both mandatory and optional prompts, along with the ability to select from the list of values or also to manually enter the values depending on how the variables are configured. If there are default values associated with the variable, that would also be respected, that would be listed by default in the variable screen. And depending on the user comfort, they can select to see the values, list of values as a keyword text to select and proceed with the variable selection screen. So in cases where we have a large set of values for the variable prompt, we do support delegated search for the list of values. So based on your search, you can filter out the list of values which are listed in the prompt screen and select the values. And if there is an hierarchical node associated with the variable, so you can navigate the node within the tool and select the values based on which you want to filter. Along with the simple filters like single value and multiple values, we do also support selection option variables, which is quite complex in nature, and you can have multiple scenarios of providing the value for the prompts. So in a summary, all the different types of variables and processing types are supported within Lumira. So the next step, once you provide the values for the variable prompts, is the exploration mode, where you can select the dimensions and measures which are required for your analysis. So we do recommend you to make a choice of measures and dimensions right here which are required for your analysis, rather than pulling in all the measures and dimensions to the tool. And one important thing to highlight here is if you have configured BW safety belt on the BW system while acquiring the data, that would be respected. So the other important element comes in the picture with respect to BW is support for hierarchies. Lumira does support level-based hierarchies within the tool. So when you select an hierarchy during the acquisition, by default, what Lumira does is, it sets the range to level 2. So if you have more than 2 levels in your hierarchy and you want to, acquire all the levels as part of acquisition, you can go and change this default range value to whatever the numbers you want. And another important thing here is within Lumira, all the levels are acquired as dimensions, but application takes care of creating an hierarchy, making use of all the level-based dimensions which are acquired for a particular hierarchy selection during the acquisition workflow. As I mentioned earlier, we do support changing the presentation type between text and key. Depending on the user comfort level, they can choose whether they want to list the text or the key figures right after acquisition to work with the data, depending on their comfort level. So we do also support conditional formatting, which is conditions enabled on the BEx Query. So the conditions are applied during the acquisition workflow. So whatever the conditions are created, those will be respected while acquiring the data. But once the data is acquired and you are actually in the Lumira document, the conditions are kind of disjoint. So what we recommend is to make use of the conditions available within Lumira if you want to further work with the conditions for your data analysis rather than depending on the conditions on the BEx Query, because as I mentioned earlier, this is not the online analysis. Here we are acquiring the data on which you can add the additional business logic or the transformations which are required for your analysis. So we do provide an acquisition summary to highlight or warn the user, in cases where a couple of elements which are not supported, so user is aware of the data which is being acquired and use it in the context of the analysis. With 1.28 release, we also started supporting BW structures, and in this case, we do support structures which are created based on measure or dimensions in both the cases. We have had a couple of performance enhancements as part of 1.28 release, where we enhance the usability of selecting the list of values for the variable prompts by providing the pagination for the prompt values, and also we have worked on increasing the response time while connecting to the BEx queries from the Lumira application. So in a nutshell, you can leverage full data manipulation and enrichment capabilities available in Lumira once you acquire the data from BW. And while acquiring the data from BW, we do support a lot of the BW elements like variables and hierarchies, which you can continue analyzing within the tool. And once you are done with your analysis, you can put together the visualizations or the insights which you have identified and share these insights with other users using the Lumira Server deployment options, either on Lumira Server for Teams or Lumira Server for BI platform. So on the server side, a couple of important features which are applicable in case of BW, which are supported, which I would like to highlight here are, we do support SSO. SSO support is only available when you make use of managed connections while creating the Lumira documents. So on the BI platform, if you have created OLAP connections and used those to create a Lumira document and have configured SSO from BI platform to BW using STS, any user who logs on to the BI Launchpad and opens this particular document and refreshes the document, these user credentials would be passed down to the BW system and the data is acquired. And we do also support providing the prompt values for the variables when the document is refreshed on the BI platform, just like how we do it in the Lumira desktop while acquiring the data. You can also schedule these Lumira documents on the BI platform to create an instance at a particular time for the Lumira documents created out of BW to make sure always when the end user logs in, they have the latest data and they do not continue to refresh the report and load the resources on the BI platform as well as the BW system. With 1.29, we also started supporting refresh on open. This is really important from the security perspective, where when you create a Lumira document, you save the document by purging the data. So the end users, when they open the Lumira document next time, they do not see the Lumira document with the pre-populated data from someone else's credential. Rather, as soon as they open the document automatically refreshes it based on the user credential. A couple of important things to highlight. The data refresh is supported on both Lumira Server for BI platform and Teams. The scheduling is only supported on Lumira Server for BI platform. The support for scheduling on Lumira Server for Teams is something in the backlog which I'll cover during the plan and the future scope. So from Lumira desktop, as I mentioned earlier, you can save the document either through Lumira Server for BI platform or Server for Teams, on which you can collaborate with your colleagues on the insights you found and take a decision. So this is about what we have today, the current capabilities we have in Lumira to leverage the existing BW BEx queries and the cubes. What we have planned for in terms of enhancement is the ability to provide the capability to filter the values basically while acquiring the data. So today you can bring in limited amount of data by making use of the metadata explorer by restricting the number of measures and dimensions which you are acquiring. But with this filter feature, what you can also do now is for a particular dimension, if you are interested in a particular values for analysis, for example, if you are acquiring country dimension and you are looking to analyze a particular country in Lumira document, you can straight away filter during the acquisition itself, so that you bring in the subset of the data rather than bringing in data for all the countries and then filter it within the tool. And another important enhancement what we plan to do is to support the date format which is configured on the BEx queries. So today what happens is when you acquire a date object to Lumira, you have to manually associate a date format. With the planned release of 1.30, which is planned for Q1, the date format would be captured during the acquisition and it would be applied right after the acquisition when the date object is created in Lumira, avoiding a step for the end user to look at the date object and manually change the date format to be similar to the one as set in the BW. So let me just quickly show you the demo here. So let me start with a new document. I'll use the same connection as earlier. And use the same query, that is specific_all. So now in the metadata explorer, okay, before that let me go through the variable prompts. In the metadata explorer, I select a couple of measures, and here I'm selecting order date. Along with order date, I'm selecting product family. So for product family, as you can see here, now we have a filter icon. So I can click on the filter icon. So now I would be listed with all the values we have within the dimension product family, and I would like to analyze only the product family yoga. So I can select yoga, click on apply, and when I click on create to acquire the data, instead of bringing in all the values for yoga and CrossFit, the application would now only acquire the data and get the result set for product family yoga. So with this, you are reducing the amount of data which is being acquired and also making sure you don't get lost with a lot of product families when you just want to analyze one particular product family. And with respect to order date, by default it has assigned the date format which is assigned on the BW system, and it would avoid end user getting into the workflow of assigning the date format. Okay, so moving on to the next section, that's the future enhancement, what we plan to do. So we do plan to enhance the prompting capability. A couple of things what we are looking at here is support for the cascading variables when you have the combination of both hierarchy and hierarchy node variables, and simplify the workflow of providing the values for the prompts by supporting the variants which are stored on the BW system. And we are also looking at enhancing the capabilities of selecting the values for the hierarchical nodes by providing the hierarchical presentation which you can drill down and select the values. On the server side, we are looking at providing the capability to enter the prompt values during the schedule. So you restrict the output of the scheduled instances based on the prompt values you have provided. And also, we do plan to support scheduling on Lumira Server for Teams so that you can take advantage of the scheduling capability to create an instance to have the latest document, latest instance available on Lumira Server for Teams as well, which the end users can utilize instead of every time refreshing the document. Couple of additional things. What we are looking from the future direction is to enhance the integration of Lumira with BW, that is to support more and more BW elements within Lumira, and also provide more capabilities in terms of agility to enable business user to simplify their use case of data discovery. And we are also looking at enhancing the user experience by adding a lot of usability feature and enhance the trusted data discovery workflow by better integrating with the BI platform. And also we are focusing on enhancing the response time, performance and scalability of the Lumira Server for BI platform, so that when the end users are analyzing the data coming from BW, depending on the size, can get the better response and the performance while working with the application.
A question from Jay. Lumira does not seem to allow the variable screen to display both text and key in all cases. Is this by design or is it a bug?
This is by design. So we today either display on either text or the key. So this is something which we have as part of our enhancements to provide the capability to display both. And we are also looking at enhancing the product to be able to select the display of medium, short or long text as well wherever applicable.
How can I point my Lumira document at different BW systems? Does the last version of Lumira Desktop support changing the warehouse connection of a Lumira document? For example, changing from BW development to BW production?
Yeah, it is supported in the connection manager. So what I can do here quickly is to show how it could be done. So within the Lumira Desktop itself, you can go to connections. And here in this case, I have R79, which is my BW server. I can get in here and change the connections. The other option, what I could recommend also is if you are using Lumira Server for BI platform, we do have the promotion management with LCM supported. So in the LCM workflow, you can make use of the connection override feature while moving between quality development and production environment. So these are the two options which you could utilize to change the BW connection for the Lumira document.
Question from Marcos. Is the only way to work online is migrated Design Studio? Is this planned in the future of Lumira? So this is online BW access, I guess.
Yeah, so for online BW access, as I mentioned during the presentation as well, we do recommend to make use of Design Studio. And in Design Studio, we do have a data discovery template, making use of which you can have the similar kind of analysis, but in an online mode.
Is there a Lumira connector with a source of overlap data, I guess other sources of overlap data.
Yes, we do have a couple of data access extensions on the GitHub, which is the open source platform, and we do also have the extensions from our partners as well.
So a question, thank you Jens for answering Manish's question about whether you can switch off the BW safety belt restriction. Yes, but of course at your own risk for the query performance.
Yeah, so today, the BW safety belt it comes into picture, and what we are looking at, something which we have in our backlog, is to make is to provide a capability while connecting from Lumira. Though you have the safety belt enabled on BW, an ability to override it from the Lumira session, so that your BW safety belt is applicable for all other scenarios except Lumira, based on your selection. So that's something which we have in the backlog and we are looking at.
Thank you. And a question from Manish. Ramu, is Lumira against BW supported on Mobi?
On the mobile BI application, the support we have today is to view the Lumira story. So irrespective of the data source, you would be able to view these Lumira stories on mobile BI application.